We have analysis tonight after the Supreme Court allows a vaccine mandate to stay in effect in New York. Healthcare workers asked the court to intervene, and although the justices were split on the decision, the court will allow the mandate to stay in place without, this is key here, without providing religious freedom exemptions. And joining me now to discuss is Andrea Picciotti-Bayer, Director of the Conscience Project. Andrea, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me.
So here we go again. My head is spinning like a lot of Americans. You know, we go through this pandemic, we got rulings here, rulings there. Sum up just in layman's terms, what happened yesterday?
Well, Owen, this is the second time in less than 2 months that the Supreme Court has not prohibited or barred a vaccine mandate from going into effect that lacks a religious exemption for healthcare workers. This is a really troubling trend that we're seeing, and it's surprising because the Supreme Court has been very pro-religious liberty, especially involving pandemic restrictions.
I think people looking at this, yeah, they would say, I thought we had a conservative court. So you're surprised, right? But it was the three dissenting were Gorsuch, Thomas, and Alito dissenting. That's only three in my count there, right? But so that's what you're surprised at, right?
It's a bit surprising. Now, obviously, the first issue is the procedural posture of this case. It wasn't a case where there was full briefing, oral argument. It isn't looking at the merits of the challenges to the mandate itself. It was a request for emergency temporary relief. So that may be one of the reasons why Justice Barrett and Justice Kavanaugh decided to side with the majority. That's what they said the last go-around involving Maine's vaccine mandate as well.
Right, so people, in this case, may lose their jobs over this, right?
You know, there's a definite Hobson's choice, right? You can either lose your job, especially these medical professionals who have been there since the beginning of the pandemic, serving patients and caring for them, or they may have to go against their conscience. And these, the people that have filed suit, are objecting to the vaccine mandate on the basis of its connection with abortion. And so even though many mainstream Christian religions and Catholic Church in particular have said there's no problem with a connection, these individuals believe that there is, and their individual consciences are being tested by this requirement.
Are you concerned that this could set a precedent for something going forward? I mean, you know, throughout this pandemic, we've seen, you know, churches shut down early on, you know, masses limited. You know, I think the concern of many, I would argue, is that the pandemic is forcing the faithful sort of into a corner. I mean, the pandemic, unfortunately, seems like the tyranny of the virus, if you will, is winning.
You know, that's a really good observation, and we saw this before when we were dealing with restrictions on mass attendance and worship numbers. The court really in the very beginning was anxious to step in and intervene on these executive orders and these governor rules. But eventually they did say that, you know, the Constitution and its protections are there even in times of the pandemic. So although these two decisions involving Maine and New York are a disappointment, I think eventually the Supreme Court will rule on the merits in favor of the responsibility of providing objections for religious objections.
Right. And so, you know, I go to church every Sunday, and for folks out there who go to church and they have strong faith and they try to follow the church rules, and you know, you try to be the best Catholic you can, and then you get rulings like this, and you kind of throw your hands up sometimes. Say, so is there anything that just regular people can do other than maybe provide an amicus brief or something to the court? I don't know if that's even applicable in this case, but what's the average guy to do?
Well, first off, we need to pray. These are very difficult times, and there are a lot of challenges that are being placed on healthcare workers, on teachers. We need to pray for folks that are on our front lines. And second, we also need to recognize that this is a country where we really, from our beginnings, have been grounded in individual freedom, in liberty and religious freedom in particular. And so even if I, as a Catholic, may have no problem receiving a vaccine, which I have, I need to stand up for the right of other people to say, hey, wait a second, I've got some problems in this, and talk among our friends and really try to stop this tenor of divisiveness and go back to a system where we're really respecting one another's beliefs.
And one more thing here, switching gears a bit, and on religious freedom, I should add, you have a podcast, I believe, right, that focuses on that? How exciting.
Yes, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is Religious Freedom Matters. Now, we did a pilot series this past summer with the Register, the National Catholic Register, and we've come up with another series, this time focusing on education. And we've brought in some incredible A-listers to talk about Catholic teaching, as well as some of the challenges that parents are facing today, where their religious beliefs are being kind of put out of the classroom, and new ideologies are coming in that are challenging what we know to be true about the human person, about human sexuality, and just about truth in general.
And how can people tune in?
So you can look and find all of the episodes at the National Catholic Register website. That's ncregister.org or .com, or you could also look at the Conscience Project website, which is conscience-project.org.
Excellent. Andrea, great to see you as always, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Owen.
Okay.